Hey you guys, it's Tonya, and today I want to share with you a layout that I created using, well, it's 2 or 3 layouts actually. It's using up some things I've had in my stash for a while, and I want to talk a little bit about layering for flat layouts, because I know a lot of people are, you know, they've been asking me lately, how do you do all your layers? What's your thought process? That kind of thing. Now, the layouts that I'm going to share with you tonight have already been featured on my blog. So if you're a follower of my blog, you've probably seen them. And if you're not, I welcome you to go over to my page and subscribe. I'll put a link to the blog down below in the description. It's psychomomscrapbooks.blogspot.com. for those of you who are interested, and again, a link will be down below. So let's talk about layers. A few weeks ago, or almost a month or so now, on YouTube, I shared with you these little clusters that I had made, these little ephemera pieces from all my scraps, and some stamped images. So the first layout that I want to share with you actually has one of those clusters on there. It's this piece right here. It actually ends with the word grow. I had made it quite large, as you can see, but I wanted it to be the focal point, and I wanted it to be like really draw your attention to the journaling and the title. So these were little pieces left over from some scraps, and then these little movie reels are actually from Echo Park, and it was from one of their collections that's a while back, so I don't even know if it's still available. But excuse me, I had bought that paper collection in 12x12 and 6x6. So what I did was I went through and cut all of these out in so they're different sizes. And to mimic that look, I went back and used some doilies to kind of soften it up. So I have a gender thing going on here. I have something that's more, you know, feminine with the doilies and masculine with the movie reels. And then I used a monochromatic type theme with I went through my scraps, pulled out everything that had a brownish tone to it, a monochromatic brownish cream tone, and that's how I started building out my layers on this one. Now, typically I print 5x7s, so I have a really nice big dramatic photograph, and then I build around it. And I've really been struggling with leaving white space, so I've been trying really hard on the last few layouts that I've made to focus more on negative space. So I did a nice job with that here. I have a good solid 1.5 to inch, you know, border around here. This is a Spellbinders die that I've had for a while. It's from Donna Salzer, and you know, again, it's just clusters of little pieces of scraps, and I just love the fact that the whole layout came together using up things in my stash and scraps. And like I said, the Echo Park paper is probably the newest thing on here, and it is at least a couple of years old. So there's that layout, and this, by the way, is my daughter Brittany. I don't know if the glare, if you can see her. There you go. That's my daughter Brittany and my son Brighton, and she's 20 or almost 20. She'll be 20 in a couple of months, and then he's 17. So my little heartthrob. So the next layout that I want to share with you, actually has a really funny story. Originally, when I made the layout, it had this mustard yellow background, and my husband hated it, wanted it changed, and I don't think he's a real fan of yellow anyway, but it is the exact match to the yellows that are found in the paper collection. See, I'll show you. See? It's a perfect match. So I wanted to use something that I don't normally use, so I went with the yellow. I also wanted to stick with somewhat of a circus type theme, because inside the paper collection is this little label that said Big Top Fun, and they kind of look like they're having a big top kind of fun day. So this is my husband Kenny and his 2 nieces Avery and Addie, which you guys have seen in other layouts before. We were at the other niece Emily's birthday party, and they were playing with these hats, and it was just so fun watching them giggle and laugh and everything. Well, with this layout I had a couple of challenges. The first was use 6x6 paper pad. Typically I don't use 6x6 paper pads, but then I thought, well shoot, you cut them up to wrap around frames anyway, so what difference does it make? So I used the My Mind's Eye Find Your Wings and Fly, which was an RC Attic Kit Club for May. And the other challenge was I wanted to use my silhouette because I've had it for a year, almost over a year, and I never use it. So I sat down one Saturday and I cut out pages and pages and pages of arrows in different shapes. I cut out some Polaroids and some little hearts and things. So you're probably going to see a lot of this kind of stuff in the next couple of posts or whatever. And then my other challenge was to use glitter. I hate glitter with a passion. Like, I can't stand to touch it. I don't want it on me. I cannot stand it. It gets all over everything. So this particular layout, I've noticed that glitter is very popular right now with titles. So I thought, I'm going to try it. I'm going to step out of my box and I'm going to try it. And if it's an epic fail, it's an epic fail, but at least I tried. So this is what I did. I used some of this mono adhesive, and it looks terrible. I should probably buy a new one. But anyway, I used it to trace around the word happy that I cut out on my silhouette. And then I put my chunky glitter on there, and this is that cheap chunky glitter because that's all I could find at the time. And trust me when I tell you, I do not even have a supply of glitter in this room. So I had to go buy some, and the only store I could find was a dollar store, so that's what I did. Then I took clear acrylic spray paint, and I sprayed over the top of it, and it sealed that glitter down. Now here's the thing, most people have told me use hairspray, and I've tried all these tricks and glitter gets everywhere, so it just didn't work for me. I don't know if it's the humidity here or what it is, but the hairspray trick didn't work. So that's what I did. I just pressed it really, really good. I let it dry, let the glue dry really good, shook off everything over a trash can to get it all off, and then I took it outside and sprayed it with acrylic spray. And so far, so good. I'm even lifting it up, moving it around, nothing's fallen off. So I was very pleased with that. Try it at home, see if it works for you. The other challenge I had was I wanted to use no flowers on this layout, which as you can see I did pretty well. And then the other challenge I had was I wanted to use, I don't know if I said this or not, but multiple photos, which normally I only do one photo, which I kind of cheated because they were printed on one photo, but it's 3 photos on one square. So I used 3 photos, which is good because normally I only use 1, and like I said, I kind of cheated with that one a little bit because I put it all on I just trimmed it as 1 photo. But anyway, I still feel like I met the challenge. So there's that layout. And then the next layout was, like I said, trying to stick with some white space. Same paper collection. This is Addie, and she is playing with the balloons from her birthday party. And I've had this picture for a really long time, but I didn't know what paper to use with it because I don't typically buy a lot of pinky girly kind of things. I have a lot of vintage girls, and they don't really work well for little girl things. And I knew when I found the right paper that this photograph would get used, and this happened to be it. I love the balloon here because it mimics the balloons here, and I love the balloon here. So what I decided to do was I wanted a layout that had movement, and I wanted it to be as whimsical and fun as Addie was. So I went back into my stash of silhouette die cuts, pulled out these arrows. This is actually one that's the negative of an arrow. Or it was chevrons, little chevrons, and that's the negative piece. So keep your negative pieces. And also, this is the negative piece from a punch, and it was just a little piece of scrap laying on the floor when I was working on the layout, and I grabbed it up and thought it looked really cute there. And then these were just those hole reinforcements, and I used my Prima chalks and colored those in. I used the light green, the pastel green. Then the washi tape, because it has the chevron pattern on it, kind of gives the feeling of movement with the arrows going in this direction. And then in this top one, I used it going this way. So I have arrows going this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. And this arrow on the paper collection is pointing this way towards the photograph. And then to continue with the movement idea, I took this twine and just kind of wadded it up, let it fall where it's going to fall in a diagonal moving this way. And since the balloons were traveling in this direction, that offered an intersection that met right here at the center where my photo is. So I really like that idea. Then the other thing I want to say about layering is this is what I typically do. I'll take my photograph and I start building my paper layout, my paper layers around the photograph to make a frame. And I started out with this one. This was a scrap. And then this piece, which was only about this big. And this piece was only a half a piece. So I knew I wanted another piece to go over here. And when I was flipping through, I found this one. Let me see if I can find it in here. And I love that it was printed as a layer. So the layers that you're seeing over here are really just part of the way this paper happens to be printed, which I think is genius. So I have a lot of layers here, or it appears to be, but there really isn't. It's all one piece of paper. And then to add to that layered look, just so that if you touched it, you felt like there were layers, I put some more of those reinforcement holes here, another arrow here, and some more washi tape here. And then I layered on top of where these all came together, I just covered the seams with the washi tape. But if I use this bold turquoise color in one spot, I tried to use it in three. So I have a visual triangle that wraps around Addie's face. The washi tape goes from here to here, but the same pattern is being used here, so we're traveling in a diagonal. And then I have these reinforced circles here and here, and actually after looking at this, I may come back and add some more back over here. I have a doily here printed on the paper, and I just happen to have a half a doily left over, so I just picked that right up and messed it up. So I wanted to use it over here as well, just to kind of balance the two sides out. I like symmetry. And that's about it for this layout. And that's about how my thought process goes for layering, is I just start with my bigger pieces, and then I start tucking things in and just covering up seams from there. And then like here, you guys are going to see me using a lot of these little shipping tags in the future, because my husband gave me a case of them that he found in a warehouse. So I have tons of these, so I'm going to start using them for journal blocks, and I love the way they look, and right now they're very hot. So to make it appear that it's attached to the photo, I just sewed it on here. And then also I sewed on some of my layout, and I left the little strings because I kind of feel like they give a little bit more of an organic and movement to the layout, kind of like these strings that were just kind of falling all over the place. And what else is going on? That's about it. So I have these, I had a lot of fun making this layout. It came together relatively quick. Like I said, whenever I know I'm going to be putting these into my scrapbooks, I like to keep them kind of flat. And it is a challenge for me to stay flat, because you guys know I like lots and lots of stuff, and I like it full, and you know, so anyway, that's kind of, you know, what I've been trying to do lately, is just, you know, get outside of my box a little bit and try some new things. I'm trying product lines that I don't normally use, just because I'm just trying. I saw a pattern of everything looking the same, and I just wanted to switch it up a little bit. I encourage you to do that, and if you're scared, make yourself a challenge like I did with the last layout. The colors were a little off from what I typically do, so you know, when you do that, I create a challenge for myself, so that I realize that, hey, I may not love it at the end, but I got out of my box, tried something new, and no harm, no foul. It's only paper. So anyway, I encourage you to get out there and play, and, you know, just experiment with being a little different than what you normally do. Get out of that comfort zone a little bit, because my most creative moments come from getting out of the comfort zone. So anyway, enough of that babbling. I love you guys. Thank you guys for all your support and your love lately. I've really been getting a lot of feedback from you guys, and I appreciate it. I've been super swamped, and life has thrown me a couple curveballs this week, but I've created some projects for CHA. So next week I'm going to be at CHA, and I can't wait to go. Reminder, my August Ustream may end up getting canceled, or if it doesn't get canceled, we may just do another Christmas kind of theme. But I will be at CHA next week, or not next week, but the following week. So we may do a live Ustream broadcast from CHA too. So keep your ears peeled. And once again, if you're not a subscriber to my blog, it's down there in the description. Go subscribe. I'd love to have you follow me there as well as here. So thank you guys again, and I'll talk to you later.